Hari Om. Let's start with the prayer. Om Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanura Mardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravidam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Amadeva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Gurudeva Deva. Hari Om. We are doing the analysis of the world, Jagat. Jagat is that which defined as Jayate Gacchate iti Jagat. That means it's continuously changing, it's coming and going, Agamapaitvam. So essentially, if something is continuously changing, there has to be a changeless entity as the substratum in all these changes. That's the essential law of conservation. And therefore, nothing can be created new or nothing can be destroyed. And whatever that is that, which is adhishtanam, and which remains the same in all three periods of time, whereas the Jagat itself continuously changing, and internally there is a desha kala vastu parichinnatvam. That means the time wise it's changing and object wise it is changing, and the desham kalam and the spatially also it's changing, but every object is continuously changing. And there has to be adhishtanam, a supporting that which the whole universe came. And this is how Krishna starts. He says, Bhumirapo nalo vayuhu pan mano muddhir evacha ahankaramiti yamme bhinna prakriti rashthada. This eightfold nature of prakriti is starting from Panchabhutas and mano buddhi ahankara, and total eightfold nature of that prakriti. But apareyamitaswanyam prakritim vidhime param. There is something higher than this. There is a higher prakriti or higher nature, and that which is dharyate jagat, that supports the whole universe itself. And that is what is called Brahman, because the Brahman is infiniteness, and the whole universe starting from Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apaha, Prithvi, 5 elements that are starting from the Akasha. Akasha itself is infinite. Akasha is space, and space itself is infinite, because if it is a finite, we'll ask the question, what's on the other side of the finite space? And if there is, and there has to be space there, and therefore it has to be infinite space. And therefore that Brahman is itself became many, and therefore every karyam is a product, and karanam is cause, and there is one cause and everything is products. And therefore if I know the cause, I know essentially all effects, because this is a material cause. And that's how the scripture here in the Vekachudamani, it uses the example that's given in the Chandogya about using the mrut, that is from clay only, all parts are there, all the parts are nothing but the clay only, but different names and forms, different sizes, different attributes, but those attributes are only for part, and for the essence of it they do not belong to the clay. If you really examine the pot, it's actually clay only, but we call it, this is a small pot and the big pot and so on. All the attributes of the pot, shape of the pot, all that is only a superficial, the qualities that are attributed for transactional purposes. I need a pot to take the water from one place to other place. It's a convenience for transactions. It has a utility. I need not a bigger pot nor a smaller pot, and therefore this is the pot I need. Therefore for whatever purpose I need for utilization, I need a form and a shape, and form is nothing but attributes of the object, and name for it we give is essentially through a conscious entity interacting with the object there. And this is what we have analyzed so far. And in the sloka that we just did in the last class is Sadbrahma Karyam Sakalam Sadeva. So what was there before creation? The Chandogya Upanishad starts with this Sadeva Soumya Idamagramasid, because knowing one thing you know everything else, and knowing what? Knowing the Karanam, Karana Vijnanena Sarva Karyam Vijnanam Bhavati. By knowing the material cause, you know all the information about the products. In essence, we may not know the superficial attributes of each object, but we know the essential knowledge, because essence is nothing but from which it came, by which it is sustained, into which it goes back. And same way the whole universe is coming from that Sat, which is nothing but the Brahman, because that's how the Chandogya Upanishad starts with Sadeva Soumya Idamagramasid Ekameva Advitiyam, and that which is one without a second, and that is Brahman, because from Brahman only all the things came, and by sustained, into which it goes back. So in terms of the material cause, which subscribed by according to the scriptures and also by both the Advaita and Visishta Advaita, says in fact Brahman is also the material cause in accordance with the scriptural statement. Therefore, Sadbrahma Karyam Sakalam Sadeva, all products are nothing but from the Sat Brahma, which is pure existence alone. And Sanmatrame Tatu Natataha Anyadasti, therefore nothing other than Brahman, because it's pure existence. Because you say this is an object, so this is part is coming from Brahman, only the object, only name, this is a part, this is a vessel. So the vessel, other things will change, and now this is not a part, this is Brahman. So this part is same, only we change from the object to the substantive, which is Adhara. So Asti Deyo Vakti Nasatya Moha Vinidgati Nidravatu Prajalpaha. So whoever thinks that the world is really real, that means all objective scientists essentially, here one statement says Asti is a world, is there, and whoever says that is sleeping, that means his knowledge is not awakened, that means he needs the correct knowledge, and all other knowledge is superficial knowledge, is only valid for transactions but not really a substantive knowledge. For that only Vedanta is a means of knowledge or pramana. There we stop, and we take the next sloka. This is 233 of Viveka Chudamani. Brahmai Vedam Vishwamityeva Vani, Brahmai Vedam Vishwamityeva Vani, Srauti Bhrute Dharvanishta Varishta, Srauti Bhrute Dharvanishta Varishta, Tasmadetat Brahma Matram Hi Vishwam, Tasmadetat Brahma Matram Hi Vishwam, Nadishtanat Bhinnato Ropitasya, Nadishtanat Bhinnato Ropitasya. So Brahmai Vedam Vishwam iti eva the Srauti Vani Bhrute. So it says the scripture is declaring, Srauti Vani Bhrute is saying what? Brahmai Vedam Vishwam iti eva. So Brahma eva idam Vishwam iti eva. So this idam Vishwam, this world is nothing but Brahman. Who says that? This is the scriptural statement where it says Adharvanishta, Adharvanishta Varishta. Adharvanishta, in the Atharva Veda, it says that Brahma is Vishwam idam is nothing but Brahman only. Tasmat Etat Brahma Matram Hi Vishwam. Therefore, Tasmat Etat, the whole thing is Brahma Matram. It's only Brahman only. You may find a difference of one object from other object, and each object has the attributes of, we mentioned as the Drusyatvam, this is Bhautikatvam, and Sagunatvam, Savikaratvam, Agamapayitvam. Again, Drusyatvam, means it is a knowable entity, and the Bhautikatvam, it's made of material, and Sagunatvam, it has attributes, because the knowing is only through the attributive content, and Savikaratvam, it undergoes continuously modifications, and Agamapaityam, it has a beginning and end, and all that is attributes to every object, and world is nothing but the total objects put together, and therefore the Atharva Veda says, this is Srauti, Bhrute, Vani, Brahma eva idam Vishwam iti eva. Tasmat etad Brahma matram hi Vishwam. Na adhishtanat bhinnataropitasya. And this adhishtanam, the one who supports everything, and there is nothing, this bhinnata aropitasya. If you find anything different, it's not from the adhishtanam, it's not from the point of that which supports, and everything else is only superficial entity. That's what essentially that means. There is no substance there other than Brahman. That we have to understand. Say, I saw there is some substance, this material is different, gold is different, ring is different, bangle is different. All this is, we are saying, different. But all this difference is only superficial, because what is there even from science point is nothing but electrons, protons and neutrons. From the fundamental point, that which is made up of, from electrons, protons, neutrons, there cannot be any difference between the gold and a ring and a bangle other than the assemblage, how they are packed. So packing is only superficial. You unpack it and you can repack it some other way. If you can do it, then you have different material. That's what is during nuclear fission, you are creating a different material starting from one material. And that's exactly because you are breaking that and repacking it in some form. So therefore, there is no substantiality for the world other than Brahman. From the science point, they are looking at the fundamental particles as the made up of materials from which, or fundamental particles from which it is made up of. So those are the materials which cannot be decomposed further. And according to Vedanta, every material is decomposed, because when I go to a deep sleep state, no material exists other than me. But I cannot negate myself, so that becomes the substantiality of the universe also, and that is what is essentially being equated as I am Brahman and the world is also Brahman, and there cannot be two Brahmans. Therefore, Purnamada Purnamidam, that is Brahman, and Aham Brahmasmi, and both are one only, Brahma. This is Purnat Purnamudachyate. Therefore, that is one Purnam is appearing as many Purnams. Purna means full. So he says Brahmai Vedam Vishwamidam Varishtam. That is a statement of Atharva Veda. Where does it say? There is a mantra there. There is Brahmai Vedam Amrutam Purastad Brahma Paschat Brahma Purastad Brahma Paschat Uttarena Atha Udvamsa Prasudam Brahmai Vedam Vishwamidam Varishtam Brahmai Vedam Amrutam Purastad Brahma Paschat Atha Urdhvamsa Prasudam Brahmai Vedam Vishwavidam Varishtam. So Brahman is in the Brahmai Vedam Amrutam Purastad. That Brahmai Vedam Amrutam, that indestructible Brahman is nothing but the one it is in front of you, the one in the back, the one in the left side, the one on the right side, the one is up and down everywhere. That is essentially nothing but this Brahmai Vedam Vishwavidam Varishtam. Everything I see in front, everything in the sea in the back, everything in the sea on the left side, right side, above, below, everything is nothing but Brahmai Vedam Vishwavidam Varishtam. That is a statement, and that's what is being quoted here in terms of Brahmai Vedam Mityeva Vani Shroti Bhuti Adharvanishta Varishta. So Brahmai Vedam Vishwamidam Varishtam is the statement from the Atharva Veda, and that's what being quoted.